Just to conclude the session, there are a number of stakeholders who partnered with us to make this event a reality and a success. To conclude the conference, we have invited some of our colleagues who provided this wonderful support for BWTP and FTC partnerships. I would like to introduce and invite Ms. Corinne, member of the Board of Directors of ADA, and she has to leave for the airport very soon after this speech. Over to you.
So, distinguished guests, dear participants of the first Mekong Financial Inclusion Forum, on behalf of the Board of Directors of ADA, I would like to thank our partners and sponsors who took the initiative and who co-organized and financed this conference. Thanks also to the National Bank of Cambodia for hosting the event. ADA stands for Appui au Développement Autonome, which means support towards autonomous development. Our aim is to enhance autonomous development through inclusive finance. We are fully committed to this mission, and we have the full support of the Luxembourg government to work on this mission in the Mekong region. This was the first Mekong Financial Inclusion Forum. We are open and we hope to organize, together with our partners, a second and further forums. All lights are green on our side to support with our technical capabilities, our expertise, our network, and our financial capacities. For us at ADA, we have identified three key takeaways that might serve as a base for discussion for the next conference. First, and Kelly Hattel already mentioned it, the necessity for coordination between regulators and shared learning between microfinance network organizations. This is why this forum is important, being a regional conference. And there we also see a role for NGOs such as ADA, which is doing systemic work. We are actually working with 3 network organizations in Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. The second key takeaway is that inclusive finance is not only credit, but it's also a number of other products, such as mobile banking for last mile distribution, retirement savings, and insurance product. It's important to strengthen a cross-selling culture in MFIs in order to achieve long-lasting client relationships and in order to mitigate costs related to new client acquisition. At ADA, we can capitalize in this area on experience that we have made in other regions of activity, being Latin America and Sub-Saharan Africa. And the third key takeaway for us is the importance of MSMEs to achieve a more widespread financial inclusion and sustainable development. We see clearly the need for MFIs to work together with dedicated players, such as business incubators, in order to enhance financial literacy and business management skills of entrepreneurs. This is one of ADA's strategic focuses over the next years. So this being said, we look forward to further fruitful discussions on these and other subjects and to build the necessary partnerships in order to realize our expectations and projects on the ground to the benefit of the people in the Mekong region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corinne, for your wonderful commitment and thoughts expressed to us. Let me invite Sabine, a senior investment specialist of the Asian Development Bank, to say a few words.
Well, where to begin? I'll move over here so you can hear me, actually. I thought I'll have 3 points that I just want to make, and I keep it very short. Firstly, I would really like to thank the host, National Bank of Cambodia, to put this together, and to really thank the organizers, FDC and ADA in particular, and the team behind the scene that has been working for weeks on end, and especially the past few days, to make sure we get fed, we have air conditioning in the room, the internet works, and I think they all put together a really great show for all of us, so thanks a lot. Please, can you share with me a round of applause? Then similar to my colleague here, I just have a few key takeaways, which are actually quite similar. I think, first of all, an event like this, where I see a lot of regional info sharing, discussions outside at the coffee breaks, I think this is really important, and we should do this again, because that's how we can learn from each other, share lessons, experiences, and I think this is a really great way to do. Secondly, I think we see a changing landscape in microfinance, and I think in financial inclusion. There's different needs. We have changing target customers. We talked about youth. We talked about pension for old age. We have new technologies. It's digitization and comes around. It brings a lot of opportunities, but also some costs and benefits that we need to really think about. And it also needs all stakeholders to work together. It's not just only the microfinance sector. It needs the regulators, it needs the networks, it needs the donors, it needs the clients, it needs everyone to work together to make us drive the financial inclusion agenda forward. ADB would like to support wherever we can, and we are actually here with the private sector side, where I'm coming from, and our public sector colleagues, because we have different support mechanisms, and we'll try to see how we can support as much as we can. And then my last point really is a personal note. The last 5 years I've worked primarily in the Pacific, and I don't even want to start to share how different that is to what I find here. So it's been about 5 years since I've been last time in the region, and it was a really great time for me to reconnect, to see old friends that I haven't seen for a very long time, but also to just sit and listen of experiences that were shared, of things that are happening or need to happen. So I've been very happy to be here, and I hope to be back again fairly soon in the region. So I just want to close with saying that some of you I might see tomorrow in the Investors Fair. Some of you I might hopefully meet when I go in country the next trips to catch up. So I wish you all happy travels, safe travels home. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabine. It's very much appreciative of ADB's engagement and commitment towards this wonderful forum. It is my pleasure lastly to invite Claire, the UN Resident Coordinator and UNDP Resident Representative for Cambodia, to provide her remarks.
Good evening, Mr. Chandula Abewikrama, Chairman, Banking with the Poor Network, Ms. Sabine Spohn, Senior Investment Specialist, Asian Development Bank, Ms. Corinne Fepel-Molitor, Member of the Board of Directors, Appui au Développement Autonome. We wish you a very good flight. Excellency, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. At the start, I would first like to thank and congratulate the organizers of this event, particularly our local host, the National Bank of Cambodia, but also the Banking with the Poor Network, the Foundation for Development Cooperation, Appui au Développement Autonome, the Asian Development Bank, and the United Nations Capital Development Fund, and indeed all the sponsors and contributors in many ways that have made this conference, this forum possible. And I think we don't often do this, but I would also like to congratulate the participants, all of you in the room, It is quite rare after 2 days of intensive engagement to have so many people still here. And I'd like to congratulate you all. This forum would not have happened either without your active participation. This forum has successfully managed to bring together a range of stakeholders, including commercial and central banks, MFIs, technology service providers, governments, and development partners around a common goal, which is to advance financial inclusion in the Mekong region in order to ensure that the socioeconomic benefits of access to financial services are shared by all people in the region. This goal is also deeply embedded in the work of the United Nations here in Cambodia and across the globe. Among other things, because it contributes to unlocking economic potential, including of the poor and underserved, and because it contributes to enhances women's economic empowerment. Thus, as we know, financial inclusion is a vital enabler to achieving a range of national development objectives in this country and elsewhere in the region and indeed globally, and is a common theme throughout the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Sustainable Development Goals, which highlights financial inclusion in 6 of the 17 development areas. The United Nations country team in Cambodia, particularly the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, are committed to supporting Cambodia in reaching its development targets and its vision to promote financial inclusion. And in that way, we are also very pleased to participate through the role that Cambodia is playing in advancing this agenda in the region more widely. From my perspective, this forum has acted as an effective platform for South-South learning and regional cooperation, for cross-pollination, ideas, knowledge sharing across countries in the region. I have been impressed, and I was here at the opening for the first 2 sessions, so I have been impressed by the level of public and private engagement over the past 2 days in the areas of innovation and national financial inclusion strategies and regulations and standard setting for client protection. I believe a key takeaway from this forum, to add to those that have been mentioned, is the continued need for national cross-sector collaboration and regional financial sector coordination for the harmonization of standards and regulation across the region. In this regard, I believe we are already heading in the right direction, particularly with the creation of bodies such as the ASEAN Working Committee for Financial Inclusion, which is made up of ASEAN Central Bank regulators and development partners. Joint collaboration initiatives such as this are the first steps towards progress. Again, in closing, I would like to congratulate all of you, the organizers, the sponsors, on the success of this forum, and confirm the continued support of the United Nations for the advancement of financial inclusion, both in Cambodia and around the world. Thank you very much. Akun Charan.
Thank you, Claire. We appreciate the engagement of UNDP as well as all the other institutions with them. Ladies and gentlemen, as she said, we are very much delighted. We have almost about 70% of the delegates still remaining with us in the final day. And this is very encouraging indeed. And it is this conference meant for you, and it is because you have the courage of your convictions about the financial inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, the financial inclusion depends on, according to my perspective, a AAA rating. A AAA rating is the institution that have the conviction to make the financial services available, not only through brick and mortar branches, maybe mobile phones, maybe SIMs, maybe agents, maybe supermarkets, making financials available. So first A is available. Secondly, making financial services accessible. You can make financial services available but may not be accessible to more people in more places. So the accessibility is a very important ingredient to make financial inclusion. Even if you fulfill the first two, making financial services affordable is a different ball game. And that's why you need different shapes and sizes of services across to all the people across all the time. And that is critical. And in order to serve that, any financial institution, whether it may be a bank or financial institution or microfinance institution, you need to get another rating, what I call the triple E rating. Triple E rating is the first E is you need to enhance your own capacity. It may be a technology capacity, it may be human resource capacity, it may be partnership and linkages capacity. Secondly, you need to make sure that your programs create entrepreneurship opportunities from the micro, small, and medium level. And that's critical. And again, they need number of partnerships and linkages toward that. Finally, your final bottom line is to make sure you're part of the bigger canvas that is the society. That is your people, that's your community. You need to make sure at the end of the day that you need to enrich your community and economically. And that's why we see a different emergence of a different kinds of investors in the next generation, which is the impact investors. They would be more focusing on the social enterprises. Whether it's a micro level, small level, or medium level, they'll be greatly focused more than the commercial, the social enterprises who are driven commercially. And towards that, there would be emergence of a next generation of impact investors across Asia, across Africa, Latin America, and other places. Even in the Eastern Europe, there would be a greater emergence of the social impact investors who would be greatly focusing on the social entrepreneurs in different shapes and sizes. So, having said those thoughts, and it's much delighted that I would like to really conclude this important and timely forum. Therefore, on behalf of the Banking with the Poor Network, I would like to thank each of your participants in the first ever Mekong Financial Inclusion Forum. Though it's the first ever, it is not the last. Ladies and gentlemen, I think already ADA expressed to us the commitment, and we are much delighted about that. And probably we will inform you where is going to be the next Mekong Forum, the second Mekong Forum, and where and when later during our communications. We hope that you enjoyed the event and have found to be a valuable opportunity for you and your representative organizations here. In closing, I would like to again thank each member of the BWT members for their participation and collaboration to make this event possible. We would like to see more and more members from the Mekong region join the BWTP, which is going to be a wonderful community of stakeholders of financial inclusion. I would also like to recognize our partners and sponsors, including our lead partner, United Nations Capital Development Fund and Asian Development Bank, and our silver sponsor, Microfact. We are greatly appreciative of the support of all of our sponsors and grateful for their contribution, without which the Mekong Financial Inclusion Forum wouldn't be a reality. I would also like to thank our local host, the National Bank of Cambodia, for their support and contribution organizing this event, as well as all of our Cambodian friends and colleagues who enable us the host the event and in this beautiful country of Cambodia. I would like to give special thanks to our co-organizers, FDC and ADA. Particularly, I would like to recognize Oliver Massat, the Executive Director who is here from Luxembourg. We appreciate your presence and coming here and your commitment, Oliver. And Microfinance and their support and excellent collaboration, without which the event would not be possible. In particular, I would like to recognize the efforts of Ms. Claire Breton, Ms. Wendy Medrano, Ms. Emma Paul, and Ms. Julie Denver from ADA team here, who is, I'm sure that they are all here. Special thanks to all of you. For FDC, I would like to give special thanks to Katie Greaves, Sean Hunter, Stephen Taylor, and they did all the behind-the-scene work almost for 1 year. So special thanks to the team there, Stephen Taylor, Sean Hunter, Katie Greaves. Lastly, I would like to express thanks to the staff of the Intercontinental Hotel, particularly Chihiro Tomo, our translators from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar, for all their efforts to ensure this event has been a great success. Particularly, we are thankful to the hotel, and they have been very accommodative, and we have seen good positive facilities for all of our guests. Again, I wish to thank all of you participants, and I'm sure that when we wanted to make this forum, we want to make sure that the Mekong region has dynamic engagements in the area of financial inclusion. We want to create a platform to make their voices heard. We want to make sure that they learn from each other. And I think we have laid the foundation for that. And I'm sure the FTC and BWT can be pleased about the outcome of this event. And I'm sure that every one of you have been enriched to look forward for the next event. I hope that you'll be able to join us again for other future EWTB events. We have a number of flagship events. Asia Microfinance is an important flagship event that we will have every 2 years. And all the other engagements. And please communicate with the Secretariat if you have any questions, any thoughts that you would like to have, any connections. Please do that. Sean Hunter would be very much delighted to communicate with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, in concluding, I wish you all the best, the people who have come from different countries in the Mekong region, and also people who have come from other far countries like Americas, Europe, Africa. I bid for a safe journey, and if you're going to remain in Cambodia for a couple of days to enjoy the country, have a great time, and I wish you all the best, and looking forward to see you next time. Thank you very much.